stopped a beat when she came and stood on my feet. There was a girl, there was a girl, there was a girl who came to see me. My head was tangled, my feet were still. I couldn't see beyond myself. I was out of shape, bent out of shape, beyond my head, beyond my space. There was a girl, there was a girl, there was a girl who came to see me. Very early on when it came out, someone had picked up on it in Austin and had loved it, and totally, you know, out of the blue, about a week after it was released. It's an ongoing process, and it may be something that people will discover as time goes on. I had a feeling I didn't get. It came tumbling across my chest. I get up, I fall down, I fall down and get up again. There was a girl, there was a girl. A lot of the time I think they're coming from the back of my head and not from the front. They're somewhere in my subconscious. I rarely will go, I'm going to write about the dog next door, or you know, or my kids. It's more cerebral than that. And it's only after then I sort of piece it together and I look at it and I kind of go, oh, that's really what I was trying to say. So that's kind of how it works for me. I mean, maybe in the future, like people like Paul McCartney now, they can write about anything and they'll go, oh, here's a song, and then off they'll go. Came to see me, yeah. I haven't really done a lot of that, but you never know, maybe in the future it'll be about dogs and cats and motor cars. I don't know, maybe. When I'm feeling low, when I'm going slow, I can't do much about it. 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 When I'm down, going under, my feet don't touch the ground. My head is asunder, wheeling round, wheeling under, going backwards, falling asunder. There were certain things that went on in my life in recent years that probably propelled me to write the record, and it was a way of expressing that somewhat, and to prove that I could do it, and possibly to prove that I could do something as good as anything else I'd been involved in over the years. And I suppose that was also one of the reasons I wanted to do everything, play everything, you know, record it, produce it, the whole thing, and that's what I did. Even though during the process, I certainly questioned why I was doing it and why I wanted to do it, or did I want to do it, what was I doing? I don't come from a busker background, you know, I'm very much from a band, gang background. Here in my heartbeat, against my will, I can't do much about it. I was at home and it was after dinner and I went into the studio and I switched on the machines and I switched on the little piano and suddenly this all came in one go. It was the only time it ever happened like this. I don't know where it came from, I didn't sit down to write it, and I got very sort of a bit of a shock and quite excited because it just in one kind of, literally from the point of switching the machine, I went ding and played the chords. The whole thing came and I had to scribble and get a pen and I wrote the whole thing down, and I was very excited at the time. I was going, wow, that's amazing. But usually I want to finish something, so I was in the middle of something, so I said, I'm going to finish this because I really wanted to just go and record the song. And so I said I left it there, and then the next evening about 10 o'clock everyone had gone to bed, and between turning the machines on I scribbled the last verse, and that's what I recorded, and that's what ended up on the record. I've nothing written ever since where it just seemed to come from literally nowhere. I have some very weird, vague memory of my dad coming back with some guitar he got with the neck hanging off with a big nail stuck through it. It got thrown out, and then I kind of remember being brought to a music shop by my folks, and it was in the days, it was certainly in Dublin, where it was all glass cases and you weren't allowed to touch anything, and it was guys in long coats and all this sort of thing, and they brought out a Spanish guitar. There was a sort of a kid's one and the big one. Of course I wanted the big one, you know, and I got that, and that's sort of how I started. I had a three-piece band where I was the singer. There was two brothers across the road. I would have been maybe 10 at that point, and I have a vague memory of doing something in the local school hall, which was a big deal. And it was a competition to play in some place around where I was living. And of course we didn't win, but that was my first introduction to an audience. And I did a Rory Gallagher song, Tattooed Lady, if I remember, and in my check shirt and my Fender Stratocaster. I met up with other people in the local area and I started playing with them. And then there seemed to be like a lack of people who were playing drums, and slowly but surely I kind of got drafted into playing drums. And it seemed like I could naturally do that. With not too much effort, and these guys were maybe a bit older than me, and they had an idea of what they wanted to do, and maybe at my own age I didn't fully have an idea what I wanted to do. And I remember questioning him, should I give up? It was a big deal. Should I give up the guitar and be the drummer and all this sort of stuff? And it was a big deal for me in my head. And I was doing shows in town in Dublin when I was 13 and 14, that sort of age, on a Wednesday night, probably unknown to my parents at the time. That band slowly sort of morphed into a band called Blue in Heaven, and that band signed to Island Records early '83. We made a couple of records with them, one with Chris Blackwell out in Compass Point, you know, Chris Blackwell being the Bob Marley, and one with Martin Hannett, who was part of the whole factory in Manchester, Joy Division, the Buzzcocks. That morphed into a band called the Blue Angels. Then there was loads of various bands in Dublin that I played with. The Black Velvet Band, Something Happens, there was country bands, there was jazz. And then I got a call to do a tour with Warren Zevon, him being of Werewolves in London and Lawyers, Guns and Money and all that stuff. I started making some records with Maria Doyle Kennedy. I was involved with herself and her husband Kieran in the making of our first couple of records, and I was involved with some of the writing and playing and all the rest of it. And at that point I ran into a guy called Peter O'Toole, who was the bass player with the Hot as Flowers. And unbeknownst to me at the time, they were drummerless. Got a call from Peter one day saying would I be interested in some playing, and I said sure, yeah. So I just went down and we didn't even rehearse actually, I just went straight into the very first show. That was the way it went from there on. I mean, with the Flowers, I mean, I never rehearsed actually. Probably if anyone's watching it, yeah, it looks like it, Ed. Prenup, which was with Big Nip, the guitar player from Hot as Flowers, and Coulter Ridden, formerly of the Pogues. It was another example of me involved in a lot of the writing and the production of that, which again sort of pushed me forward to making a record. Pictures now, pictures in my head now. I just sort of write the stuff, and if I get something onto tape that has the essence of what I think the promise of the idea is, and I get that down, then usually that's just enough to kind of carry me through to finish it and kind of go, yeah, that's got something. Missing things in the dark, shed a light so I can see clearly. I want to get to know you and not just newly. Bang, bang, yes, I like it. Boom, boom, my head says yes. Bang, bang, all the way together. So yes, did I see it coming up before me? Right across my eyes. Hit me before I knew it. Same old story again and again. When you string 5, 6, 10 songs together, they really, each song has a huge effect on the one before or after it. You know, so there's certain songs that didn't make the record that I loved for some other, whatever reasons I did at the time, that just didn't fit because they were being affected and the overall feel of the songs that ended up on the record. Running up a hill, running past a dream, running down